Rafael Esparza from Doc Sports and MyBookie.ag, odds maker out there. Rafael, how are you this week, my man?
I am doing good. How about yourself?
We're doing all right. We're navigating the waters here in a very busy news cycle in Baton Rouge.
Does Ed O want to maybe come to Vegas and coach the Raiders? He might be looking for a job.
I mean, he will definitely be looking for a job here at some point in the next few months, and the Raiders have an opening, so that maybe that's the fit. Who knows? What we do know is we have Tuesday night college football back tonight. Little down the road here from us in Lafayette. The Fun Belt takes center stage. App State 4.5-point favorites at the University of Louisiana Lafayette. The total set at 57. ULL gets the win last year. App State, though, 8-1 all time. 10-1 against the spread off a bye. Any late line movement expected here?
Maybe on a total. I mean, it's already moved almost 3 points. It opened up at 54.5, pretty much 57 across the board. I think that probably will go up maybe half a point because anytime you have some Sunbelt action on a Tuesday night, there's always a lot of points being scored, especially when you're talking about an App State game. They just can put up 40 points in a blink of an eye every time they play. I would not be shocked if this total keeps on creeping up. I think the number will probably stay the same. I don't see that much action coming in. I mean, the total already moved to half a point. I don't see that much moving it. I would think that people would be betting the total and probably throwing some baseball games and some hockey games and parlays.
Rafael, as you know, and as you mentioned, tough times here in Baton Rouge, 3-3, unranked. Future of the program is uncertain. We're having jokes with our producer here, talking about how Kentucky's better than us in football now, but we're going to get you in basketball now because this is a basketball school. But all that being said, still got to play a game this Saturday, and already seeing plenty of action on the LSU-Florida line ahead of this Saturday. Opened at 11, was down to about 9 or 9.5 yesterday. Now back up to Florida minus 10.5 in most places. What are your thoughts on this game, and how much did the injury to star wide receiver Kayshon Boutte maybe impact this line?
That's a huge because their offense has been struggling, and I feel bad for the LSU seniors. Homecoming at a 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time game. This time was scheduled to be an evening game, and boy, the LSU struggles continue. I guess they want people in Baton Rouge to watch baseball at nighttime or something. But yeah, that's a kind of a disappointment at the time. I think Florida has to be the edge on it just because I think their defense is playing much better than LSU's defense. And I know they gave Vanderbilt the big goose egg last week, but that's Vanderbilt. But I was really impressed on how that held Kentucky. Even though they lost that game, their defense played really well. And that total was 57. That was nowhere to be even found when they played Kentucky. I like Florida's defense in this one. I'm just not sold on LSU at all. Offense, defense. I guess I just can maybe wait for baseball season in Baton Rouge to start because basketball season could be okay.
Hey, we're excited about both of those. I'll tell you that much. But a lot of people just want to talk about moving on from football entirely. But I do want to get one more in on LSU and the line. With so much action and kind of in each direction so far the first couple of days of the week, where do you see that line kind of settling around Saturday at 11 a.m.?
I would think it'll probably stay close to what it is now. Normally, a big game like this in the afternoon, if it's not a big, ranked game, you're not going to see much action. I think we'll probably get a lot of Florida action, and we'll just be begging for LSU action before kickoff. I would be shocked if we see drastic line movement on this one, just because of time. I mean, if this is a 2:30 CBS game, then the people who'll be losing all morning might be jumping in. I think we'll probably see 10.5 or 11. I would be shocked if we see anything different in those two numbers.
One last SEC game that I do want to ask you about, Rafael, and Ole Miss is coming off that win against Arkansas. I thought Arkansas was going to pull it out and break their hearts again like they did a few years ago when Henry did that lateral and they cost Ole Miss a chance at the division. But they're favored by 3 in this one at a Tennessee team that's been playing pretty well, especially offensively. The total opened at 79.5, and it's been bet up to 81 in some places. What do you think of this 3-point line for Ole Miss at the Tennessee Volunteers?
Yeah, can we put our heads down for the scoreboard operator? He's the one that's going to be working the hardest in this game. This total will probably be 82 when it's kicked off. Tennessee's been putting up 40-plus in a blink of an eye. We all know what Ole Miss can do on offense. This one's going to be a 1990s Techno Bowl, playing with your buddy, sneaking beers while your mom and dad are bowling type of game. Someone's going to be fun to watch. I have Ole Miss squeaking out a victory. Would not be shocked if they win by 6, but boy, both teams should hit the 40 mark.
One more college game before we move on to the NFL, Raphael, and we take us to the Big 12 here. Oklahoma State, number 12 in the country, quietly at 5-0 on the season, visiting the Texas Longhorns, coming off the heartbreaking loss in the Red River rivalry game. Texas laying 5.5 at home. Again, Oklahoma State quietly at 5-0. Are they ripe for the picking this weekend?
I think they are. I mean, it all depends on what's the mindset of Texas blowing that big lead. Instead of the fans cheering SEC, I think you should have been cheering like ACC or Sun Belt or AAC, because if they're going to play that defense against Oklahoma, there's going to be a very, very long headache in the SEC. But I think Texas rebounds. I'm not 100% sold on Oklahoma State yet, but if they win this game, boy, they're going to be skyrocketing. Let's face it, the college football polls are just a complete mess right now.
Rafael Esparza is our guest joining us from Las Vegas. MyBookie.com as we go to the NFL slate of things. And interesting week in Las Vegas, to say the least, Rafael. They were 5.5-point favorites at home against a rookie quarterback, and they were never really in that game as the Bears smoked them inside of Las Vegas. First of all, do you have any strong thoughts or feelings on the situation with John Gruden right now, and what impact does that situation have on this line? Right now, Raiders a 3.5-point underdog at the Denver Broncos this Sunday.
The only thing I can say about the Gruden thing is I tell my brother's kids and my sister's kids and everyone that has young kids or in sports or whatever, do not tweet and do not email if you don't want nothing to come out in your past, because they'll dig stuff now these days, 10, 15, 20 years. You could be a dumb 16-year-old tweeting out something or email something, and in your 30s, they'll come out and haunt you. That's all I can think about is say about that. Just be very careful. At the time we live in, anything can be dug up in the computer and haunt you in your past. It doesn't matter if it's 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years.
We have another game in London this week. And look, I mean, if the NFL is trying to expand this thing to this London, we do. The Dolphins and the Jaguars, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at 9:30 a.m. Central Time, our time here. Dolphins 3.5 points. I mean, look, you got the Jets and the Falcons in London last week. Now the Dolphins and the Jags. You'd think they'd send some better games over there, but my question is, what impact do the London games normally have on the line, and are there any common trends to look out for in those games that take place in London?
Well, first of all, how bad do we hate the people in England?
Right.
They give them those type of games to watch. And I'm just happy that the Premier League is playing at the same time as this game is going, because last week there was no Premier League, and I was force-fed to watch Atlanta and the Jets. But, I mean, normally in Vegas and stuff like that, you'll get a lot of midnight action before we close the books, because people don't want to get up that early, because it's 6:30 time. Vegas time for them to watch this game. But this game right here might get a little bit more action just because of the Urban Meyer situation. I think a lot of people think this is where Jacksonville can get their first W against a Dolphins team that's offense is struggling. I like the Jags plus the 3.5. If you're going to get your first win, why don't you get it out of the country and then come back and be heroes? So I like Jacksonville, but again, how bad do we hate the English for force feeding them to watch this junk?
Yeah, after they got the Jaguars for years and years and years before this. One more NFL game I want to ask you about, Raphael, and I'm a little bit surprised, despite what we saw last night. Excellent stuff from Lamar Jackson. The Ravens currently a 3-point favorite at home this Sunday against the L.A. Chargers, and the Chargers right now might be the hottest team in the NFL. They have really good players on both sides of the ball. Their coach is a young superstar who goes for it on fourth down, it seems, at the most opportune times. What do you think of this 3-point spread the Ravens favored over the Chargers this Sunday?
I was hoping maybe Baltimore wouldn't play it on Monday night, because this would be a fantastic game. I hate playing teams that are coming off Monday night games, but Baltimore's just red hot, and it's when their offense is clicking, because they're not just running the ball, they're passing the ball. And Lamar Jackson in the pocket looks brilliant. This is going to be a fantastic game, probably the best game, I believe, on Sunday, so I can't wait to watch this. I'm leaning towards Baltimore, but man, this Chargers team is fun to watch on offense. I just don't think they can stop the rushing attack of Baltimore, especially in the second half.
Couple more minutes with Rafael Esparza. He joins us every Tuesday. Follow him on Twitter at VSI.Sports. We have a new betting favorite for MVP in the NFL, and that is Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. Bills rolling at 4-1, dominated the Chiefs on Sunday night. Allen now ahead of the likes of Dak Prescott, ahead of Kyler Murray as well for the MVP race. Any thoughts on Allen and his candidacy, and not only that, also the Bills' chances to win the AFC?
I think the Bills' chances is probably to win the AFC. Probably, I would think right now the best bet. I wouldn't say MVP for it because I think what Lamar Jackson did last night was pretty impressive. So I would not be shocked if he starts getting a lot of love. But I think Buffalo to win AFC is probably with the best. Dak Prescott to win the MVP. I think he's going to be overshadowed by the Cowboys defense, who's all of a sudden starts to play. I mean, it's not because Dallas is winning offense, but they're winning on their rushing. Their running attack has just been brilliant. And their defense. I think that's going to hurt Dak Prescott. But I think right now MVP is going to be between Allen and Jackson. Right now, I'm leaning towards Jackson right now because what I saw last night was pretty fun to watch.
He is Rafael Esparza, DocSports.com, MyBookie.ag. Follow him on Twitter at VSI.Sports. What's your best wacky odds of the week here that you got? Any entertainment odds to shout out?
I'm posting what will John Gruden do next? Host a podcast, work for Fox News, TV analyst, WWE analysis, TV game show. So those will be out probably in the next, I would think, half hour. I'm going to say WWE analysis. He would fit perfect with them.
Gruden in the WWE would be he's right. That'd be a perfect fit.
You don't think AEW has a better chance to land him, Raphael? Aren't they rolling right now?
He has to work for WWE, then get fired, then the AEW will pick him up.
That seems how it's going these days. Raphael, we always appreciate your time, my man. Talk to you next week.
Take it easy, guys. Have a great week.